Meerabai is the embodiment of, the epitome of the power of devotion. Meerabai was born and lived in Rajasthan. And as a young girl, at 3 years old approximately, a saint who was coming through her town gave her his image of Lord Krishna that she loved and she loved and she held, and it was her favorite. She had begged this saint to give it to her, so he did. A few years later, when she was around 8, she saw this marriage procession and everybody was dressed up beautifully like in a wedding. So she asks her mom, like any young girl does, "Mom, who will be my bridegroom?" So her mom points to her image of Krishna and says, "Well, to Girdhar Gopal will be your bridegroom." Now her mom was kidding, just the sort of thing that you say to an 8-year-old girl. But Meerabai, she took it very seriously. "Oh, Lord Krishna, Girdhar Gopal is my bridegroom." She actually had a wedding ceremony with him, and she lived married to Krishna. When later she got married into the aristocracy, nonetheless, she was already married to Krishna. And throughout her marriage, she stayed in her heart, in her mind, in her life, married only to Krishna. Now, of course, you can imagine that that didn't go over so well with all of the royal family who wanted her to just behave, just be normal, just act like a normal aristocrat. But she was in love with Krishna. Nothing could change her. Nothing could make her let go of that. Finally, after her husband died, after her father-in-law died, the royal family tried everything they could do to kill her. She was bringing, they felt, a bad name upon the royal house with her love and her devotion for God. And it's so sad. We've seen this in so many of the stories, from Prahlad to Meerabai to so many, that people whose minds are not clear, people whose hearts are not pure, they're so threatened by love and devotion. So they sent first poison to kill her. But Meerabai takes the poison. She takes Bhagwan Krishna's name and she drinks it like nectar. Nothing happens to her. Then they send her a poisonous snake. She opens it like a garland of flowers given to her by her beloved Krishna. It becomes that garland of flowers. Finally, she leaves the royal house. She goes to Vrindavan, she goes to Dwarka. It's a beautiful long story, a story of just devotion, a story of poetry and song and love, of a devoted heart for God. And finally in Dwarka, after the royal family of Chittor has been overthrown, has been changed, at that time the new leaders felt that all of the horrible things, the misfortune that their city was experiencing was due to the fact that Meerabai, this devoted woman, had been kicked out. So they sent the Brahmins to go and to bring her back, to beg her to come back. So they go. But she was very happy in Dwarka, very happy in the land of Krishna. The Brahmins said, "But we will fast unto death if you don't come home." So Meerabai goes into the local temple there, as she said, to ask the advice, the permission of her Lord to return to Chittor with the Brahmins, so they didn't fast unto death. The Brahmins waited, and they waited outside. Nothing. They burst into the temple, and she's gone, without a trace. She had merged into the image of Krishna. There were no side doors, trap doors, escape routes, tunnels under the ground, nothing like that. She had merged just into God. So Meerabai is this incredible embodiment of devotion, and also this example of the power of devotion, how poison becomes nectar, how snakes become a garland of flowers. Today, so much of science is telling us it's all in your mind. How you think about something actually creates what it is. Quantum physics is telling us. Jaise drishti, vaise shrishti. Meerabai was the divine example of that. For so many of us, the nectar in our lives becomes poison because our minds are filled with poison. But Meera's mind, Meera's heart was so filled with love and devotion that even poison became nectar. She's the one we pray to, the one we bow to have that love, that devotion, that Shakti of Bhakti in our lives. And if you've never heard the poems or the songs of Meerabai, get yourself a copy. Google them, buy them. They're all available in so many languages. Allow yourself to be filled with that incredible devotion.